Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Rebecca Moore.
Wow. Thank you so much. When I was a little girl in the 1960s and 70s growing up on Long Island, my family had a place on Shelter Island, and every time we drove over the causeway, I would look up at these beautiful osprey nests, but they were always empty. And it was quite sad. This went on for several years, and then all of a sudden, the osprey were back. It was a miracle. Then I stumbled on Silent Spring in my grandfather's house in the Adirondacks, and I remember staying up all night reading it cover to cover. I was stunned by Rachel Carson's work. So what were the lessons that I took away from that as a young woman? One is that anyone, one person, can make a difference, and that person can be a woman. She probably won't do it alone. Rachel Carson had help, EDF, Audubon, many others helped with this success. She can make an argument based on science and data and not on emotion. And if you do that, nature actually can recover. It really was very moving to me and very hopeful. The other thing I learned is that if you challenge the establishment, you will probably be attacked, as she was, and that actually may show that you're doing the right things. So when I started on my path using Google Earth to save the redwoods, I was immediately attacked. Google Earth was attacked. The logging company said, Google Earth is a toy. If we tried to use Google Earth, we'd be laughed out of the regulatory process. I said, oh, really? It's actually objective data. And by the way, where's your data? They did not have an answer for that. After we saved the redwoods, I got a phone call from Woody Harrelson, who was concerned about the destruction of more than 400 Appalachian mountains, Appalachian mountaintop removal, which you could not appreciate from the ground. You could only appreciate the scale and the destruction of it from the air going over multiple states. He said, would you help us use Google Earth to tell that story? So we did. It was shocking. And the president of the Kentucky Coal Association attacked us, and he said, it's cheating. It's cheating to use Google Earth. They're playing the emotional card on us. And what I loved, like, I didn't even have to respond to that because a woman in the community wrote a letter to the editor saying, what's cheating is that you've been able to get away with this for all these years and no one could see what was going on. And if you can't get emotional about destroying God's creation, what can you get emotional about? I also took away a cautionary tale for me as a technologist. Now this may be, I don't know what the word would be, but some of those chemists developing DDT probably thought they were doing something good. And so as I and my technology peers are really doing our best to invent new technology and apply it in these ways that we think are for the betterment of society and the environment, we need to be mindful that we're doing this in the right ways. And that's why it's really important to us to have the partnerships with the leading scientists, the NGOs, and so on. The last thing is just that, you know, I love technology. I think it's fantastic, but technology actually doesn't solve problems. It's the people who solve the problems using these tools. Everyone has a role to play, including everyone in this room. You know, it's tempting to look for heroes, but we all need to be environmental heroes right now. I think we need to look for doing anything we can, even if those things seem small. And I go back to the Surowi tribe in the Amazon that I've worked with now for almost 10 years. They call Google Ragogmakan, That's our name. Rogogmakana means messenger. But they called me hummingbird. I was like, back to hummingbird. So why hummingbird? And they told me the story, and maybe some of you have heard this fable, but raging forest fire in the Amazon, all the animals are fleeing, but there's one little hummingbird that is going to the river, taking a few drops of water, flying back and putting it on the fire, back and forth. And the other animals are like, why are you doing this? It's crazy, you're never going to put out the fire. And she said, well, I'm doing what I can. So I want to thank the Audubon Society, Alice and David, for this great honor. Thank you, Rachel Carson, for your great work, and may all of us be hummingbirds.